These are the peppers. Peppers in pots. Peppers in more pots over here. I have a flowering oregano right there. More peppers, some eggplants, and we'll see the leeks over there. This is a bunch of mints. Bottom did not like being completely in the shade, so we're going to put something else in there next year. We got all of our squash. Through here, we got some more peppers over here. Over here we got our cherry tomatoes coming in. The potted apple trees are doing pretty good. Got a lavender. Zucchini incoming. These are garlic that are going to be harvested when I come back next weekend, and I have some pumpkins that are going to go in there that I have that are pretty good size. So this is another view of peppers, a few perennial herbs, some more peppers. These are all sweet peppers through here. This here is a baby fig, a willow tree that we just got in a pot. There's sweet pepper, well, slightly spicy, it's a shishito pepper. Here's just a various pot. This has a edible hibiscus in it. This one has bush-style cucumbers. I need to pull that cucumber. I thought it didn't have any fruit for so long, and then it turns out that there's a cucumber on there. Some more peppers over there. That's a mulberry tree that's not doing so well. We got Better Boy tomatoes that I'm not pruning along there, and the old herb garden out there. So we're gonna look through this row before we do the center row. I got some potted up bee balm here. This is the row of blackberries, which we've already picked off of heavily. We got catnip. Cats love to sit there and lay on the catnip. That's oats for cat grass. I will say about growing your own blackberries and strawberries, but yeah, I have strawberries. I forgot to mention strawberries are like the living mulch underneath. You lose maybe a third of your crop to birds and insects and things, and then they'll swarm the ones that are getting eaten up. So leave the ones like these. Let me zoom in here. See how this one here is getting eaten up and destroyed by insects? We got some more over here. You're not going to see very many nice looking ones right now because I was silly and harvested already. But you can see where I've pulled off stuff already harvested in the past. And if you just leave those on there, the insects and birds will come for those and leave your nice ones alone. And so that's really nice. A new plant this year is this Celeste fig. Let me sort of zoom in over here. You see our little figs. Won't zoom. Anyways, got some nice figs on it. I've not gotten to grow a fig before, so that'll be nice. We got some okra here. I recently opened up the Celeste fig, so I put the cuttings in dirt to try to get more trees. This is a wall of jalapenos. Each one's a different jalapeno variety. We got 5-color Chinese pepper, which right now only has purples. And then a row of leeks. You can see an empty old bucket. I keep all the pots and I use them for other things along the way. So that blackberry bin's I've had for like 3 years. And I've already harvested some leeks, which you can see it's got a weed in there right now because that area opened up because I harvested a few and they were quite tasty. So over here we have our hot peppers along the row. These are ghosts. This is a peach ghost. These two are red ghosts. These are reapers. This is a yellow reaper. That one's a typical red reaper. That one's a purple cayenne. They start purple and turn to red, and they're in the process of going from purple to red. Let me just sort of show you that process. This is my Tabasco that I had you can sort of, I don't know if you can see very well. I cut it to nubs down there, and then this all came back this year. I had it in the greenhouse. And then that's a baby Tabasco that's not doing so well. I've got a mint here, an apple mint. And then that's another Tabasco plant that's doing really well in that corner. I didn't actually expect anything to survive that corner. I got sacred white sage here. So these are raspberries. These 3 are my youngest. These 2 I put in during the fall, and they've done really well. So this one here, it's kind of funny that this pup is here. This one here, she chewed it down to a tiny nub, and it's come back. So that's why, even though these 2 were planted by the same time, this one's having to make up time against this one. But we've gotten a good cup of raspberries, which I'm surprised that we got after only planting it in the fall. So that did really well. Here's my mulberry bush that's doing really well. We didn't get mulberries this year because the frost took them out. So here, I wanted to go through, this is what's going to take the most time. This here is my main row of tomatoes. This is a 12-foot long row, and it's got 12 tomatoes in it. But if I point it down this way, you can sort of see that the outside ones here, down this row, and the outside ones here, straight that row, have tomato plants. So they're offset by 1.5 feet diagonally as they go down the row. And so that, because of that, it doesn't go a full feet across, or it doesn't go 2 feet across, but it keeps them close to 2 feet, 1.5 feet apart. And so I can actually put them in 12 in a 12-foot bed, but I have to keep them trimmed down. You can see I have to keep cutting through here. And I've got some marigolds and other things planted underneath. This is another hibiscus to take up this corner, which are going to have edible pods similar to okra. And so I'm just going to go down the line this way and then on the other side to show what varieties I've got here. So this is a Brandywine, a typical red Brandywine, and it's done pretty well. It hasn't set very many fruit, but it's got some good ones on here, some big ones. It flowered one of the first ones to flower, so it's putting out a lot of new flowers since then. If you can see here and up here, it's got some more that are coming out. So we'll see how it does long term, but it seems to be kind of middle of the pack. I got a German Queen here. I'm not impressed with the German Queen. It hasn't grown much. It's not put out many flowers or fruit. Maybe it'll do better over time, but I haven't been impressed so far. It hasn't done bad. It's just behind. Maybe that's the way it grows. I've never grown one before. This one's an Opalka. And at first I wasn't impressed with it. You'll see that it gets really tall. At first I was not impressed with it. And it's probably another middle of the pack too, except for it might win me over because in here, it's got all these paste tomatoes in here. The problem I'm running into is, we might get some new ones here maybe, but the problem I'm running into is, so you see here is about, what, 1.5 feet, 2 feet off the ground. And as we go up, it's another like 2 feet. No, this is more like 3 feet before it even flowers again. So it's setting off a bunch of flowers when it does, and it's probably going to be one of my first to ripen. But we'll have to see. It probably does better if you have bigger space. I have to keep them to one stem, and that much space just, it can't cut it for me. So we'll see what it does. We'll see the opposite of this here towards the end bit, but it's a lot of growth for not a lot of tomatoes so far. But the tomatoes are setting very well. Pretty much every flower is providing a tomato. It just needs to flower more. So here's one of our winners this year, Cherokee Purple. Gonna be honest, I didn't want to plant it originally because I thought that it was silly, because everyone wanted to grow Cherokee purples. Look how many tomatoes are on this. There's a lot of tiny ones. Each one of these set. A bunch of big ones. It's just covered. This thing's covered. It's doing so well. Another winner that I'm always gonna have, this one's Black Krim. I planted them expecting them to compete with one another. Black Krim right now is beating it in terms of growth and fruit set. But they're so close, we're gonna have to see for flavor. I'm probably gonna do both varieties from now on. And I plan on doing seed saving, because for these first tomatoes down here at the bottom that were competing with each other as flowers, I had covered them, and they're good for seed saving. So I'm gonna save these seeds. These have been doing so well. But you can just see, so we got some tomatoes down here. I wasn't impressed. We got some here, and then it started putting off more flowers on these branches, and more on these branches, and then look up here, it's just covered. It's just absolutely covered, and this isn't even a leader. This is just a branch that keeps putting off flowers. This isn't a main leader. And this is another one doing it here, and it's doing it not even 6 inches up again, and it's gonna do it again over here. And I love it. We'll see how the tomato tastes, but it's doing very well. This one's a big rainbow, I think. No, this one's Kellogg's Breakfast. Having the same problem with the flower set, not doing so well, but we'll see. It's already got some things setting, not a lot of flower production. We'll see how it does. Let's get across. I don't have a lot of memory on my phone, so I'm going to have to hurry this up in the next couple minutes. This one's the Blue Beauty. It grew a lot before it finally flowered, and then now it's just putting off flowers like crazy. So I think this will be one of my late producers, but it's doing pretty well. This one's a Berkeley Tie-Dye. I don't think I'm going to do this one in the future. Not many tomatoes coming out on it, and it's going to be sort of a greenish tomato. We'll see. San Marzano, definitely keeping it in the future, even though mine might be really weird. Look at all these tomatoes, and it's still putting off flowers. It's only 1.5 feet tall. It's just loaded. I love it. He's staying. This one's a Mortgage Lifter, which I've grown before. Got quite a few flowers on it. No fruit set. It's a later one. They're going to be really big and meaty, so we'll see. It's going to be the end of the year before I decide. This one here is that big rainbow. It's starting to put off... Get those leaves out of the way. It's starting to put off flowers. I'm not impressed with it yet, but we'll see. It's a yellow tomato. We're going to see how it goes. This one here is a Hungarian Heart. I love ox heart tomatoes. Starting to put off flowers. I waited really late to put off flowers, but now it's trying to make up for it. So I'm definitely going to do the San Marzano. I'm definitely going to do the two ones back there, and I'll post an update video soon. And thank you all for watching. Running out of battery. Bye.